The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, welcome to Catholic Chicago. I'm Father Greg Sakowicz, Rector of Holy Cathedral in Chicago. I see my left is a great friend, Mark Teresi, who's part of the staff, does so much for the cathedral, 150th anniversary, 175th anniversary, special events. Mark, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
And don't forget, go to www.hnc.com/campaign to see our very successful, almost finished capital campaign.
Yeah, the generosity of people has been phenomenal. Our goal is $12 million. We've now pledged $10.5 million, which is amazing. Wonderful. Still a ways to go. We're not there, but thank you to all who've given so generously to the campaign. Exactly. Great program lined up this morning. Backed by popular demand, Dr. Edward Gordon, great friend, very active in the cathedral, along with his wife Elaine, for I think 40 plus years. Members of the cathedral, historian, teacher, author, writer, lecturer, historian. He goes on and on.
And good guy.
And great guy. Great guy. Yeah. Dr. Edward Gordon, welcome to the program this morning.
And today we're going to talk about economics.
And we're talking economics. So on that note,
jump in.
What is the state of the economy right now, Edward?
Well, let's look at the first slide.
Mm-hmm.
The first slide.
I'm glad we asked.
Yes, Well, here are the unemployment rates for the U.S., 4.2, Illinois, 5.1, and Chicago metro area, 4.9.
The United States, 4.2, is that pretty good?
It's a slight improvement.
Okay.
So the next slide, though, shows the number of job vacancies. Slide 2, that has gone up slightly to 7.6. Some estimates, though, are far higher because many companies just don't report vacancies because they don't want their competitors to know they have spots. And some companies have just given up looking, which we'll talk about in a minute, because when you look at the third slide. All right, now the National Federation of Independent Businesses, these are companies of 500 employees or less, and they survey every month. This represents about half of the workforce. 62% of those companies are trying to hire, and of those, 51% can't find a qualified applicant.
Wow.
That's half.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is half.
And that's amazing, was they had no one apply to that particular position.
That was qualified
to
fill it. Now, we're going to talk more about that in the second segment of today's program. But I want you to look at that number because there are millions and millions of people who have quit even looking for a job because of different reasons, which I'll talk about in the second half of the program. So talk to young people coming out of college, they can't find jobs. Talk about older people who've been laid off, they can't find jobs. We'll talk about that in the second half. And the third slide, which people will identify, or the fourth slide, I'm sorry, here's inflation. Now, inflation just dipped slightly. The latest information came up after I had this slide done. However, now that the war has heated up again, you can expect that inflation rate to go up. Also, too, when you go to the grocery store, I don't think you're going to see lower prices. All right? I just bought a can of coffee the other day. It was $33.
Wait.
$33?
Can
of coffee.
A 2-pound can?
Yes.
$33?
Yes.
And I know this is almost an impossible question. 2 or 3 years ago, that same can was about how much?
It was about 20.
That's tariffs.
Yes. And other shortages.
$33 versus 20 a couple of years ago.
You better cut your coffee.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm sorry, if we go back to that slide one more time, please. There we go.
You're keeping Michael and me quite busy.
I know. Now look at the trade deficit. That's near a record high, $77.6 billion.
Now, for our listeners and
Now remember, the
viewers,
tariffs were put on in order to lower the trade deficit.
but explain to folks what is the trade deficit.
The trade deficit is the difference between the amount of goods we sell overseas versus what we import. Now, it does not include, that number does not include professional services. If it included professional services, we would be ahead. But right now, we are importing more than we're exporting.
Okay,
And the tariffs were put on in order to discourage American consumers from buying from overseas.
Now, what do you mean by professional services? Then we would be doing well.
Legal services, financial services, consulting services
From the American point of view.
of American firms selling to foreign countries.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. All right.
So these are our trade goods that we're importing. So when you buy those berries, they probably came from Costa Rica or Mexico.
With a tariff attached.
Right. That now you're paying because the price is higher.
Well, you can't.
Thank you, that was helpful.
You can't run a country with a trade deficit like that.
Well, see, that's sort of a misnomer because what's happened is the amount of money that is being invested in the United States by foreign countries in terms of them building plants or other facilities, they're pumping, it's called foreign direct investment. We have billions and billions of dollars of foreign direct investment pumped into the United States every year. So that in some way, in a real way, wipes that out. All right? So a lot of money is being pumped into the U.S. economy, far more than is going overseas.
Okay.
Is there a concern about other countries kind of taking over different venues here in terms of business?
Well, there has been. But right now, what's happened in manufacturing is every year, several 100,000 manufacturing jobs are being returned into the United States. And the reason why is that transportation costs have gone up to import stuff. There's a tremendous amount of corruption and other problems in countries overseas, and prices have gone up overseas. And then finally, a lot of manufacturers want to offer customized products for particular markets. And if they have the production in the U.S., they can make the change. The only problem with inshoring, and I just talked to one of our experts about this, is the biggest problem is the manufacturers can't find the people to make the product because now manufacturing is more and more high-tech and they can't find the people who can work in a high-tech environment. Though some will train them and most won't. So that's another problem. We'll talk about that in the second half.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
That I believe in higher education in terms of stay in school, get the degrees. But if a college student graduates from a particular college, just a history major, English major, then they're now in the job market looking, but the needs of our country may not revolve around an English major or a history major, which are two very important majors.
Well, they're high literate. Now, Greg, when I graduated from college, I was offered jobs with many companies. They had executive training programs. I was a history and psychology major for my BA and MA, all right? So they would have put me into a program. Those programs have largely been eliminated.
So
now they want you to go
train you.
Yes, they would have trained me into a job. So now they want you to get MBA on your own. They've empowered me. So the young people coming out today are running into that problem. Even if they have a degree in the right field, if they don't have experience, they don't hire them. But even then, they won't hire them because there's not a precise match to exactly the job and how they're going to perform it. All right? That's the problem. So many young people today in college get internships with companies in their particular major. And then many of those companies hire them after they graduate. And that's how they
been their
get
training.
jobs. Yeah, that's how they get jobs. All right.
Interesting.
And
Yes.
generationally, like our son's generation, there's not necessarily longevity with a company. They
Well,
move
let's
around
talk
a lot.
about that in the second half.
Okay, good.
What I'd like to do right now, give your viewers today is, well, where's all this going? Well, right now, we have an AI frenzy of investment going on in stock. Over $1 trillion have been invested, mainly by the Magnificent Seven or the Magnificent Six: Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet. And they are now continuing to do this. Now they're borrowing money to invest more in AI.
They're borrowing to invest more?
Right. Now there's a problem with that. You have this $1 trillion investment, yet the returns, in other words, the profit that's coming from the application of AI with a particular product or service, those have been very low. All right. Now, people generally invest in a stock because it's being profitable. Now, the potential of AI is there to give profit, but a lot of the 80s and 90s technologies only started producing well into the 21st century. That's when productivity increased, all right? Right now, what you see is a bizarre economy that's really being held up by these further expansions of debt. So you have corporate debt going up. We have tremendous government debt for the current budget in Washington and the projections forward, and then tremendous consumer debt. So when you look at the stock market, it's being held up by a huge, growing Mount Everest of debt. All right? Now, any sudden tightening of financial conditions, interest rates rising, which is a possibility now because of inflation, a lot of the financing of this is being done in a very exotic way of manipulating financial products. Like you saw before the 2008 real estate crash. You remember that. And they blamed it on how all of this debt was being manipulated. We're seeing this again. And then something happens.
Are we moving again toward August of 2008?
Yes.
We are.
Yes. A major financial crisis could occur when these conditions change, and they can bring about a big financial crisis worldwide. The Chinese economy is in trouble. The Russian economy is in trouble. Europe is very weak. We have two wars going on right now. Inflation is out of control. All right? So the only thing holding this up is the further increase in AI buying of those products financed by
that's
debt.
dangerous.
Well, some people are making a lot of money by driving that market up, all right? And when it crashes, which it will, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, all right? So when will that happen? I don't know, but I can tell you the higher those numbers go up and the more the debt levels go up, and it's being held up by these investments, by these 7 big companies. IBM just took a big loss the other day. They're not part of that, all right? So that's what's holding the market up right now, all right? Now, the stock market is not the whole economy. I understand that. But debt levels, these debt levels are not sustainable. That's my point. The more the government borrows money to sustain government debt, the less capital is available for businesses and consumers to borrow, and interest rates rise. All right. So we see a phenomenal increase. Right now, the federal government is borrowing money, interest on the debt for the current budget that's larger than the Pentagon budget, which is our largest expenditure.
Wow.
All right. Right now, Social Security, because there are fewer workers working and more elderly people, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you elderly, drawing on Social Security and Medicare.
But less is coming in, but more is going out.
Well, and by 2033, what's going to happen? You're going to see a reduction of 1/3 of
on that note, we need to take
I was
a
going
break.
to say on that elderly statement that you and I resonate with.
We'll take our better
We're
use.
going to take a little break. Dr. Edward Gordon, professor, author, researcher, HNC, Holy Name Cathedral friend, and tremendous parishioner. And our guest, this is the 41st program that you're sharing with us.
Since 2018.
How do you know?
Because I asked you.
Yeah, it's because I buy all these commercials on the program to keep
41st.
me.
Wow.
Catholic Chicago will be back
At
in a few
100,
minutes.
you get a toaster.
Please stay tuned.
Year 44 for me teaching. When I started here, there were teachers here that had taught me when I was a student. Now I'm the old person. Right now, I teach junior high math. I love when kids find what I'm teaching to be fun and they get it. I see that light bulb go off and it's a thrill. People are always amazed. What? You're here for 44 years? It's hard for me to believe, frankly. I love what I do. Every summer I think, oh, I miss the classroom. Even on the weekends, I think I can't wait to get back on Monday and teach those quadratic equations.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
We're back. Catholic Chicago, Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Teresi here with Dr. Edward Gordon, and we have a special announcement from Father Greg.
On Monday, July 13th, in the Chicago Sun-Times, under the opinion section, our own Dr. Edward Gordon, along with George Baumstead, had a wonderful article entitled, "America's Schools Are Producing a Generation of Techno-Peasants." And fascinating title. Congratulations, Edward, for having that article published in the Chicago Sun-Times last Monday. I read it. It is excellent. And now if people want to get a copy of this article, how do they do that?
Yeah, it's available online from the Sun-Times.
Just go to Chicago Sun-Times.
Right.
Monday, July 13th.
Right.
It's in the opinion section of the newspaper, well written. Talk to us about this article, even the title, "America's Schools Are Producing a Generation of Techno-Peasants." That's a fascinating title. Say more.
Okay. Well, I've talked about this before, as you well know, and I co-authored this with George because George is the chief statistician for the National Assessment of Education Progress. These are tests done by the federal government of public and private schools, elementary and secondary, 4th, 8th, and 12th graders. Mm-hmm. And it's done every year since the early 90s. And the data on this is very distressing. 32% of high school seniors graduating from high school are at what they call below basic. Now, below basic is anywhere, we estimate, 3 to 4 grade levels below in their reading comprehension. In other words, what they read and comprehend, vocabulary, content.
You're saying some high school graduates are reading at a high school freshman level?
Or below, no,
Oh my
more
gosh.
like 8th grade.
Oh my gosh.
All right. And worse, 45% are below in math, even a larger proportion.
That's almost half.
Yes. Now, the difficulty is, what are they going to do upon graduation? Some are going into post-secondary, community college, colleges and universities, or trying to get a certificate or apprenticeship. The problem they're finding is they may have gotten A's and B's in high school, even with these low test scores. But when it comes to reading the material in these courses,
Can't do it.
they can't do it. Many graduated from high school, never wrote a term paper or an essay. Many can't add, subtract, multiply, divide, do fractions, percentages, ratios, basic math stuff. All right?
Wow.
So now if you want to do something and be a plumber, a carpenter, an electrician, a lab technician, a nurse, you want to teach, you want to go into banking, you want to become an accountant, a bookkeeper, you can't do any of those things because you graduated from high school, and now the technologies involved have raised the number of higher skill jobs. In 1971, we had 2/3 of the jobs still were basic jobs. Today, it's down to maybe 1/3 or less. By 2030, it'll be 25%.
So 25% in the year 2030 of basic jobs,
Right.
but in 1971 was
Right.
2/3.
Right. So,
Wow.
in manufacturing, the same thing. So now, if we look at, on the other end, right now, there are, in manufacturing, at least 500,000 vacancies in manufacturing in the United States. Remember I told you about reshoring, how companies can't do it. Why? Because more and more of the manufacturing facilities are high tech. So you have to be able to use a computer, repair a robot, program a robot, manage a robot, and people can't do it.
And the school curriculum isn't preparing.
Well, they're not. The basic education is not preparing them.
Right.
Let's make this very clear. We're talking about reading, writing, and math. These are basic educational subjects that everyone needs, and too many of our students just aren't getting it.
And
So they're
example-
getting A's and
Yeah.
B's in high school, but in reality, their performance is way below what it should be for that age
So
and that grade level.
does that mean, Edward, that school preparation on a high school level trains at, let's say, this level, but the workplace to go into requires you to be here?
Right, correct. Now,
And then
Illinois,
you're coming out automatically with
they're techno peasants. And Illinois just lowered their standards.
lowered.
Yes. Illinois has an achievement test that they give, and they lowered the standards for what is expected at different grade levels instead of raising them. Well, AI is going to do everything, right? You don't need to read, do you? I mean, only 14% of teenagers today read for leisure. That's down from 23% a few years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And what,
Now, many schools are beginning to ban tech devices, particularly in colleges and universities. Some high schools are banning iPhones, but too much of it is on screens, and they're scanning, but they don't have the vocabulary, they don't have the writing skills. But this goes further. Listen to this now. Besides this, we have a shortage of 300,000 accountants in the United States and bookkeepers. Why?
Wow.
Well, their math and science instruction is weak. Many of the people who teach in elementary and secondary, those subjects, don't have degrees in it. They have a teaching certificate in it. So they can teach it, but they don't have an in-depth knowledge of the subject. Let's go on. Right now, we're short at least anywhere from 113,000 to 500,000 physicians across the United States.
Wow.
So, Greg, when you fell and you hurt your knee, and of course, now that was booked in advance. But if you had been taken by ambulance to the emergency room,
Which I was for my broken ribs.
Yeah.
how long did you wait for someone to see you, Greg?
Well, because I'm great friends with Dr.
Okay.
Mike Lee and his wife Tessa, I had an in.
Yes.
But about 8 years ago, with Mark present and another friend, I waited 10 hours in the emergency room.
And that's how many years ago?
8 years ago.
And that's worse now.
And then, by the way, Northwestern has an excellent emergency room.
That's not the problem.
And these nurses and doctors are overwhelmed with the number of people.
Well, we don't have enough people.
But that was it. There weren't enough to
They
handle
don't have
everybody.
enough people. They don't have enough people. And that's in a big city. Now let's go to a smaller city or a rural area. Hospitals are closing in rural areas. Why? Because right now we're short anywhere from 267,000 to 500,000 nurses. We expect to be short at least 1 million doctors by 2030 and 1 million nurses by 2030.
We're talking 4 years away, less.
Yes, right. Well, I've talked about this since I wrote the book, The 2010 Meltdown. That was in 2008. I predicted that because of all the boomers retiring and leaving the workforce, we had to gear up elementary and secondary school, and plus companies needed to train. Because remember, one of the problems we have in manufacturing is that most manufacturers won't train you into the job. All right?
So you wrote about this 18 years ago.
So
I was predicting this would gradually get worse and worse. All right?
So if you were a parent,
Yes.
and your child is finishing high school, they're
Yes.
looking at college,
Yes.
what would you tell them?
It may be a little late. Because you see, if in elementary and secondary school, that child didn't see you read books and magazines, write a letter, well, then if you're on your screens all the time and you don't read anything, you just rely on that and television or radio, what's the problem?
They're not modeling any behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't read for leisure, are they going to read for leisure?
Right.
No. I mean, I know people that have 4 televisions going in their man cave to watch all those games at once.
Wow.
Now that's important. But reading, school, sports is important. Sports are far more important to most children than learning.
And sometimes it's creative. Like our daughter read all the Harry Potter books with my wife. They discussed them, and then they went and saw the movie. Well,
Okay.
that's a creative way.
So
Yeah,
this
true.
is what we're talking about here is systemic failure. Elementary, secondary, post-secondary, and then lifelong learning in the workplace. It's not going on in the workplace because they're investing in AI. They're not investing in training workers. And they're not investing in career education programs to familiarize students with jobs and careers and supporting that. And certainly we're not raising standards in elementary school. Who needs homework? Let's lower standards. AI will solve all these problems. I'm doing a important roundtable discussion on this. AI requires a knowledgeable, intelligent person who can use the technology. AI is junk unless there is an intelligent human being to use the tool. It's a tool, folks. It is a tool, all right? And if students use AI to write their essay and they have no knowledge of the content,
That's not a tool.
well, it doesn't replace it because AI makes mistakes, doesn't it? And it relies upon someone to edit that.
And maybe, because we're just about at the close,
and yeah,
maybe
totally.
that AI conversation could be our next program, Ed.
Well, that may be. But
We need to bring this program to a close.
yes,
20 seconds to wrap it up, Edward.
the rise of populism is behind a lot of this, where simplistic solutions, economically and educationally, are being thrown at people. Both political parties, instead of offering realistic solutions for our program, are offering them populist nonsense. And it is further driving the country down and the economy down.
Well, on that note, a beautiful note, but it's sobering, but you're here to tell the facts.
Exactly.
You don't mince words, so I want to thank in a very special way Dr. Edward Gordon, historian, researcher, writer, dear friend, very active at Cathedral, and give our love to your beautiful wife, Elaine.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you very much for joining us. Special thanks to co-host Mark Teresi.
Thank you very
And
much.
also to our producer, director, choreographer, Michael May, for his outstanding job. Baseball season, second half All-Star break is over. Cubs fighting for first. White Sox tied for first. Make the second half push for the playoffs come October. Have a great weekend coming up. God bless all of you. Amen.